Hi, my name is Jana Bozeman. I am a Denver-based yoga instructor. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel today. I'm going to be leading you through a pretty short, like 20 to 30 minute floor-based adaptive yoga practice. So sitting down, this is really good for people who are experiencing different kinds of things in their body, might have limited mobility, paraplegia, MS, all kinds of things. If it isn't accessible for you to get on the floor, you could probably do this little sequence first thing in the morning or before you go to bed at night. So just seated in your bed, play around. First and foremost, very important that you always feel safe. So if some of these poses are new to you, if the whole thing is new to you, move slow, listen to your body. It might be nice to have a buddy around that can help to assist you. You might not be able to do everything. That's absolutely okay. Really important piece of yoga is keying into our breath, slowing down, paying attention to our bodies, to what's going on, whatever that might look like. So just see if you can enter this little flow with all of that in mind. And without further ado, we are going to get started. So I don't know if you can see, but I'm actually seated up on a couple of blankets. You may or may not need to do this. For a lot of us, it just gives us a little more lift out of this pelvic girdle where we all tend to get a little tight. So nice little use of props if you have them. And today, let's go ahead and cross our right shin in front of our left shin. And you might not be in the center, that doesn't matter. You might need to come out a little wider with the knees. Another way that you can tell if the blankets will be helpful for you, if your knees are really, really high, sitting up taller, you could even sit on a big bolster. That's going to just make this feel a little easier. Before we go anywhere, let's just go ahead and put our hands on our thighs, close our eyes, take a nice deep inhale through your nose, open your mouth, let the breath go. Ha. Do that a couple more times. So this is just cueing your brain that it's time to quiet down, to pay attention to your body, to let the to-do list go, to let all of the things that might be worrying you at the moment, to just put them aside for a little bit. It's all going to be there. Oftentimes, though, when we can move our body, when we can check in, we can actually attack that to-do list with a little more creativity, feel a little more rested, energetic, able to do that. Okay, so just keep your eyes closed here. And I just want to go over the breath that we're going to do today. So we're going to move towards our Ujjayi breath. We're definitely going to be inhaling through our nose and exhaling through our nose. So kind of that breath that we get before we fall asleep. And this can feel weird, especially if you tend to breathe through your mouth. So do the best that you can. It's not going to be perfect. Like anything that we practice, the more we do it, the easier it gets. For some of us, you might be able to start to constrict the muscles in your throat. So as the air rushes through the back of your throat on that inhale and that exhale, you start to get this soft rush of air. So there's this sound. It sounds like ocean waves. So you might be hearing that. It's okay if you don't, but find that steady inhale through your nose and that steady exhale through your nose. And then maybe start to count your breath just internally. So inhaling to count of 5 or 6, and then exhaling to that same number. So often for many of us, especially starting out, the inhale might feel a little easier. The exhale might feel a little easier. So you're noticing what's going on for you. And you're trying to create this sense of evenness with the breath. Good, couple more rounds. And even in the context of this breath being a tool to help us focus, we do get distracted by sounds happening in the room, outside of the room, the chatter in the brain. So anytime you notice that you've lost that focus, just come back to your breath. You might have to do that 1,000 times in the next 20 minutes or so. That's absolutely fine. Good. So from here, go ahead and blink your eyes open. We're going to just start to rock around in the hips a little bit. So we're going to make these little circles. So hands can be on knees or shins. They might be higher on your thighs. It just kind of depends on what's going on with your body today. These circles can be small. They can be bigger. I like to get my shoulders involved sometimes. You might get to a spot in your body where it feels like, hey, I want to hang out here for a moment. So feel free to do all of that. And then start to switch directions. Maybe you can even kind of get your neck involved. Be very sensitive and gentle about that. So we carry a lot of tension in the neck and shoulders. A tendency is to grip there, to hold on. So finding that release can be this tenuous balance sometimes. Good. Come back to center here. So sitting tall, feel your shoulders stack above your sit bones. And you can maybe, let's rock forward and back a little bit. So just playing with that. And then really try to find the center of your sit bones. So shoulders stack there. We're going to move into some cat-cow here. So again, palms might be on your thighs. Hands might be on your knees or your shins. You could even have your hands on blocks by your side if that feels better. But essentially what we're going to do, and I'm going to give you the side profile of this. As we inhale, we're going to start to rock forward on our sit bones. We get this really yummy arch in our lower back. And then as we exhale, we go to the back of our sit bones. Our belly button pulls towards our spine. We round in the upper back, the thoracic. Try to let the neck go. So chin is tucking towards chest. Inhaling, arching. You can feel your elbows squeeze in a little bit here. They like to wing out. So we want to keep them squeezing in. That helps us to find the back bend. Rounding in. So you come into that cat stretch. So inhaling, arching. This is our cow stretch. Exhaling, rounding in. A lot of poses named after animals in yoga. And you can kind of see why. Your eyes might be closed here as you move with your breath. Your breath pace might be feeling a little different than how I'm moving. So go with yours. Some days it feels really good to stretch things out. Some days it feels better to move a little faster. They're both good. And I always say, even though we're doing the same poses over and over again, our yoga practice is so fluid and dynamic. It's always a little bit different every time we get on our yoga mat. So it's best not to get too attached to things needing to look or even feel a certain way. Instead, we show up and we notice where we're at. We choose to be good with that. Okay, so let's do a couple more rounds of this. So we're essentially just doing warming up the spine nice and gentle here. And it feels so nice. It feels really good to connect the movement with breath. It has this calming quality, this meditative quality. It helps us to find this sense of rhythm in our body. And for those of us who maybe are in a chair more than we would like to be, have other things going on, these opportunities to move like this are so important. So truly, enjoy it, even if it's feeling intense. So we've had this right shin crossed in front for quite a while now. So we're going to recross with the opposite shin in front. So that left shin. And you might need to adjust here. So one side always feels a little different, perhaps a little tighter in your body. You're just noticing maybe you need more height on this side. Maybe you need a little less. And then we're going to start to just come into some seated sun salutes here. So you might want to have some blocks out in front of you. You are just going to play with that. But first and foremost, we find that beautiful seat again. So shoulders stacking over your sit bones and just release your arms by your side. As you inhale, you're going to stretch your arms. You can go out and up. You might go forward and up. So that's a good variation. There's stuff reaching out wide doesn't feel good in your shoulders. Sometimes it's just nice to mix and match and play with both. So we're sitting here and I want you to pretend that somebody is pulling you up by your wrists. So you're getting a little length. That being said, holding your arms like this for any amount of time can be very challenging. So if you need to take a break, if you have stuff going on in upper body that precludes you from doing this, you could just be sitting here nice and tall, slightly bringing your gaze up. So again, don't get too attached to doing exactly what I'm doing, you might have to modify in your body. One of the things I love most about adaptive yoga is how creative it is, for both me as a teacher and for you as students. And I think that's a really fun thing to dive into. It's like yoga becomes this playground. All right, so from here, you might start to bring your gaze up. Again, you're listening to your neck. And then as we exhale, we're going to start to fold in. So you might take your arms out wide and then just rest them down. It might feel better to come down the center. And then it doesn't matter how deep you go in this forward fold, but I do want you to let the back of the neck release. So it's like you're trying to bring your chin towards your chest. Couple breaths here. That inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. And then you're going to begin to press into your palms. And this might be a lovely place to walk your hands in a little closer, or maybe you place them on those blocks. So as you root, you start to extend your chest forward. So you're lengthening through the sides of your waist. Again, just let me give you that side profile. So you are in a deeper forward fold here, letting the neck go. As you inhale, you extend forward. So your gaze comes forward. You're lengthening through your spine here. Arms are active. You can feel the inner arm wrap towards outer arm maybe. And then as we exhale, we fold back in, letting the back of the neck lengthen. And then from here, a couple of options. So if you have the core strength, you reach your arms out wide, so you do a reverse swan dive up. Many of us are probably just going to walk our hands in, and then you can reach them out and up, forward and up. So here we come back to this extended mountain pose. You can take arms as wide as you need to, and again, they might even just be resting by your side, but feel that lift of your sternum up towards the ceiling. Maybe bring your gaze up. And then exhale, hands come to heart center. You can bring them down the midline. Again, you can take them out wide. So just play around, see what feels good in your body. Try both. And we're going to connect all of that together. A few rounds of this Ardha Surya Namaskara, half sun salute. Inhale, reach. As you exhale, fold in, let the neck release down. Inhale, chest extends forward, gaze comes forward, root into those sit bones still, feel anchored there. As you exhale, you fold in. And then inhale, you make your way back up to that extended mountain pose, whatever that looks like. Maybe gaze up, press palms. As you exhale through your nose, hands come together at your heart. Inhale, take up lots of space. Like, just be ridiculous about it. Enjoy it. We're very contained most of the time. So it's fun when we can open up. Inhale, root down into palms or palms on block. Chest extends forward, gaze comes forward. As you exhale, you fold back in. Inhaling, making your way back up to your extended mountain pose. Oh, these feel so good. As you exhale, hands come together at your heart. I always say that these sun salutes are the best medicine. It's pretty hard not to be smiling while doing these. So if that smile is bursting out, please let it happen. We can be so serious about yoga sometimes. Let's do a couple more of these. I'm not going to cue you. We're just going to flow with the breath. So it's the best soundtrack. You can just peek and watch what I'm doing. If you know these, if it feels good having your eyes closed, sometimes that can be really nice. It really takes you inside your body. So here we go. There is no rush. Good. When you're done with that second round, you're just resting with palms together at your heart. Your eyes might be closed here. And you're checking in, you're noticing what's shifted and changed for you. Perhaps the heart is beating a little faster. Perhaps the breath has sped up. So try to slow it down. You might be noticing that there's some heat in your body. This is a good thing. Good. And then blink your eyes open. Release your arms by your side. So let's go ahead and take the legs out to wide here. So coming into Upavista. So if you're on a hard surface, I do recommend setting up somewhere so that you can have your heels on the mat. It's just a little more comfortable. And then also, I have sandbags here that I'm going to use. These can just be a couple of ways that you might be able to use these. So you can put them over the tops of your thighs. It really helps you to ground down. So feel that connection to the earth. If you don't have sandbags, you could do like a bag of rice or beans, something like that. And again, not necessary. So there's this variation, and I do recommend being on blankets. Even if you weren't on blankets in the last pose, a little lift in this pose. This one's usually a little more challenging for most of us. So the other place that these blocks, or rather sandbags, can be really nice is if your feet tend to turn outwards quite a bit. And doesn't matter if they're doing it, but if you want to come more to neutral and you're not able to access the muscles to do that in your body, perhaps you're paraplegic or you've got MS or something like that going on, putting these sandbags to the outside of the foot, just give it a little structure and support. And you could actually, even if you have blocks, kind of stack a block up and then snuggle it in with that sandbag. So a variation to play with, not necessary. It's just one of those things that gives our bodies a little boundary, a little feedback. So great little tools to use when maybe we can't access those sensations just on our own. We need a little help. Okay, so you also might need a block or two off to your sides, and you can play with the height. You may not need them. We're going to do a little lateral side to side stretching. So pressing down into those sit bones, you're going to stretch that right palm off to the side. And depending upon how you're built, how flexible you are, you might be able to get the palm on the floor. We're going to inhale, take this left arm up and over. As you exhale, release down, root down into that left palm. It might be on a block. Inhale, that right arm up and over. And then we find this flow. So exhaling, rooting down, grounding, inhaling, feeling this lift, this lightness, this stretch. Exhale, release. So nice and gentle, just going side to side. And you don't have to be very deep, very big about your movement. We're all a little different. If you're newer to this, you're gonna have a lot of sensation potentially through the sides of your waist. So that doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. This means you're learning a new language here. Inhale, up. Good. Exhale, release down. Inhaling up. Exhale, release, ground. Inhale, lift. And then this next time, as you're going off to that right side, plant down there, take the left arm up and over, and then just imagine that somebody is pressing down on that left thigh. If you don't have a sandbag there, maybe if you have somebody that you live with who could actually do that adjustment, they just press straight down nice and easy. So that left sit bone likes to pop up here. And then spin your palm to face forward. So that is external rotation. We want to internally rotate. So pinky side of the hand turns to the floor. You're spinning your palm, the eye of the elbow back behind you. And then maybe you start to gaze up underneath that top arm. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. it's hard to hold this long, you might just have your hands resting on your hips, gently pressing this left shoulder head back. Good. Take a nice deep inhale here. And then exhale, root down into that left palm. Imagine that somebody is gently pressing down on that right thigh. Perhaps you can actually find a friend to do that. And then take that right arm up and over. We're trying to wrap these left ribs up towards the ceiling. So there's a little twist here. You can almost think of this pose as being all these different spirals. So these left ribs are spiraling up towards the ceiling. But then this right arm is spiraling back behind. Maybe you're gazing up underneath that top arm. You're breathing here, smooth and steady. Exhale, release, and then find those sit bones sitting nice and tall. And then let's just take hands underneath knees. We're going to bring the soles of the feet together. And we're just going to take a little forward fold here. So for some of us, just sitting upright like this, you're getting tons of sensation. So maybe you just stay here. If you do need any height, pressing down in the hands can help us to sit a little bit taller. Trying to release these knees down to the floor. A lot of that is dictated by how tight you are in your groin. So again, don't be attached to this pose needing to look this perfect way. We're all a little different. If you do have a little more mobility in your body, you can start to hinge forward at your waist. And as you can see, I'm using my hands on my blocks. This is actually a really challenging pose for me. So when that happens, the chatter kicks up again. Or thinking, oh, get me out of this. When is my body going to get better at this? See if you can let all of that go. Maybe you're not happy with where you're at, but you accept it. And you know that change is happening. You're anchoring into your sit bones here. You're lengthening through the sides of your waist. Keeping a little lift of your sternum. So even though this is a forward fold, we want a little feeling of back bend in our upper body. Good. And then let's inhale, slowly roll on up. Hands come to the outsides of your thighs. And then just give yourself a hug here if that is available in your body. If it's not, maybe you're just taking a little forward fold. So it's a different kind of hug. And then I want you to come back to a comfortable seat, whatever that might look like. Close your eyes, hands on thighs. Find that rhythm of your Ujjayi breath, that inhale through your nose, that exhale through your nose. And I want you to notice how good you feel. So we didn't do a lot. We moved with the breath. We did some sun salutes, some lateral side to side stretching. Doing just a little, though, makes such a big difference in how we feel. Physically, mentally, energetically. So send yourself love and gratitude for taking a few minutes out of your day to check in, to do a little yoga. And just promise yourself that you're going to carry this feeling with you into the rest of your day ahead. And just take your palms and a pile on top of your heart and bow your head with a smile. Beautiful work today. Thank you for joining me. I do teach an adaptive yoga class via Zoom since we're in the pandemic right now. That is on Mondays from 1:30 to 2:30 Denver time. The information is linked in this video below. I would love to have you join. If you're at all curious, you can shoot me an email with any questions that you might have. These are donation-based classes, so some pay $5, some pay $10, no more than that. And certainly if you're experiencing financial hardship, but you would like to check out this class, it's a beautiful community of really amazing human beings. We would love to have you, and you are welcome to pop in anytime, even if you can't pay. So check that out. Email me with any questions that you have or any ideas of things that you would like to see, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.